Homeschoolers, the revolution is on. If people are looting stores, getting caught, and then basically released, you can homeschool your kid if you want to. Let me say that louder. Do not obey the government on this homeschooling stuff if you can make it work. Do not obey the government. If there's a law, break it. Break it. Now, typically, I would not encourage anybody to break a law. But there are laws that are unjust. And a law telling you you can't educate your kid because a stranger can't educate his is an unjust law. You have a patriotic responsibility to disobey an unjust law. It's not just an option, it's your responsibility to disobey laws that stop you from educating your own child. Period. You have a responsibility to disobey that law. One of the things that I'm finding really interesting is this schooling situation. And the coronavirus is obviously making a huge impact on homeschooling. So apparently the number of homeschool applications, the people who have asked to have permission to homeschool, and let's just stop right there. Permission? Permission to teach your own kids? What? Why do you need permission to educate your own children with your own resources better than the government can do it? You need permission for that? We live in a free country and you need permission to teach your own kids? There's something deeply wrong with that. Now, I get the fact that we should have universal education, but that has more to do with the fact that we're forcing kids to have some kind of school. But if somebody can do it better and you won't let them, so the school unions, the teachers' unions, the teachers' unions are the ones who are behind the limits on how many homeschoolers can be in a school district. And they're keeping that cap. During a pandemic, an emergency, when the kids' health and mental well-being are completely on the line. We're talking about kids dying if they don't have better structure. And the teachers' unions, pure evil, and the source of all systemic racism, or at least all that matters in the current era. No, I won't say all that matters. They're the biggest source of systemic racism. Let's say 90%. And they're stopping the only thing that can make things better for some people, and the reason is that other people don't have those advantages. Now, do you want to live in a world where you can't do what's good for your kids because somebody else that you don't know can't do something good for their kids? Is that a reason not to protect your own kids? Well, I think we're talking about Civil War IV. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think there are enough people who want to homeschool that they can't all be arrested. So I think that there's going to be a school revolution, meaning that there will be enough conservatives and people who just want to get out of the school system. I think there will be enough that they'll just do it. Because you can't be stopped from just doing it if there are enough of you. If there's a small number of you, then the police can arrest you for not sending your kid to a proper school, I suppose. But if there's enough of you, it's a non-issue. You just have to have enough people to say, let me explain this to you. It's a pandemic. I'm not sending my kids to the pandemic. I am going to educate them at home. If you come and try to stop it, I'm armed. Right? Because the homeschoolers are mostly armed. Now, I don't think you should use your arms if the police come to your house. Of course, that would be the worst idea that you ever had in your life. But it's certainly going to put a little friction into the idea that there's any kind of law enforcement that can change that situation. So I would say at this point, you should not obey the government on school requirements. Let me say that as clearly as possible. If you're a conservative, you're worried about your kids, and you have the ability to homeschool them in some way, you should not obey the government. Let me say that louder. Do not obey the government on this homeschooling stuff if you can make it work. Do not obey the government. If there's a law, break it. Break it. Now, typically, I would not encourage anybody to break a law, but there are laws that are unjust. And a law telling you you can't educate your kid because a stranger can't educate his is an unjust law. You have a patriotic responsibility to disobey an unjust law. It's not just an option, it's your responsibility to disobey laws that stop you from educating your own child. Period. You have a responsibility to disobey that law. Now, not all of you think it's a good idea, don't have the resources, etc. But if you're in that situation, boy, do you have, let me just say you've got at least 30% of the country has your back. And when I say has your back, I mean has your back with weapons. I'm talking about something that's so important that armed America isn't going to take it anymore. So I don't think we're at the point where this is a conversation anymore. If you can homeschool your kids, do it. Please do it. If the only reason is that takes power from these the teachers' unions who are evil. By the way, not the teachers. I'm still getting people who are saying, Scott, why are you saying teachers are bad? I've never once said that. I've never once said anything bad about teachers, only the union. All right, it's a whole different entity. It's not teachers, it's the union. So it's only the union that I target for destruction. So homeschoolers, the revolution is on. You have my full backing, and I don't see anything that can stop you, certainly not the law. Because you're watching people looting frickin' stores and not getting in trouble. All right? If people are looting stores, getting caught, and then basically released, you can homeschool your kid if you want to. All right? We no longer live in the world where the government can stop you from doing that. There are too many of you. It's too obviously the right thing to do. Just go ahead and do it.